What's going on, everybody? In this video we're going to show a simple, easy, and inexpensive way to set up a leopard gecko with enrichment. So as many of you guys might know, if you've ever seen us at a show, we actually do sell this as a starter kit, which is a nice and easy way for people to get started with their leopard geckos. So I'm going to disassemble this kit a little bit. The main component is going to be this, which is peat moss. You could also use eco earth instead of peat moss, but I do recommend a more soily type substrate. And if you buy it from the pet store itself, sometimes it's called forest floor or jungle mix. Just make sure that it contains mostly eco earth. It can have a little bit of sand in there, but it should be more of like a peat moss eco earth soily substrate. So this is the lid. We'll put that off to the side for now. So first step, when you get home after buying your starter kit and your gecko, you're going to want to dump all of the substrate into the container. Now if you wind up not needing to use all of this, which you might not, then you can just take some out, or if you want, you could just put it in little by little from the beginning. And this is actually a decent amount. This is about 1.5 inches. So that's about actually 2 inches thick right there, which is way thicker than we would normally want it, especially since we're going to put a heat source under one side. So I'm actually just removing some substrate right now because I didn't realize how much was in there. Sometimes these bags look kind of small, but then you dump them out and it's a ton of material. So the next step that we want to do is we actually want to fill our humid hide. These are our humid hides that we sell with our kits, and you could buy these separately, and you'll want to fill that with about 50% substrate. And then you do want to moisten this down, get kind of close to the substrate so that it becomes a little bit solid and a little bit damp, and boom, that should hold pretty well for the leopard gecko, especially if you don't put this on the hot side. This should last easily a week of moisture before you need to respray. The more you spray, the longer it'll last, but you don't want to make it like a swampland in there for the gecko. So this is the part that is up to you where you want to put everything. And just to kind of show you, this is the goal, about 1 inch, 1.5 inches of thickness right there. And so just for ease sake, I'm going to take the humid hide and I'm going to put it on this side of the tank. And you can actually leave a little bit of the soil under it, or you could remove all of the soil and push this all the way to the bottom, which does help, especially if you have a smaller gecko that needs to climb up into the humid hide. So now you can kind of see the humid hide, even though it's normally 3.5, 4 inches tall, is now only about 1/2 inch to 1 inch tall. So if you have a smaller gecko, it can crawl into the humid hide. Just make sure the soil on the inside is tall enough so that the gecko can actually get out of the hole. Make sure that the gecko can't get stuck in here is basically what I'm saying. All right, next in our kits, this is a dry hide, which also comes with our kits. And this also can go anywhere that you like it. I'm just gonna put it on this side right here, just for now. So now the gecko has access to a wet humid hide or a dry hide. And this is the last piece that comes with our 3-in-1 kits. You're gonna get an escape-free mealworm dish. You're gonna get one of our top-of-the-line and unique food bowl, water bowl combos, which this side will hold the water bowl in here. And this wall actually prevents water from splashing into the food, which is amazing and rare. Only us and our designer, the designer that we work with, actually have this design, and it's very useful and very practical. So this I'm just gonna put over here. And the other cool thing about this food bowl is both pieces pop out. So if you want to change the food but not the water, you could do that. And if you want to change the water but not the food, you can do that. Each kit will come with a little container of calcium powder. So I'm just gonna simulate setting up a gecko for the first week. Now normally in our operation, this is a 1.5 ounce cup. This would be given to every single one of our geckos that is still growing in the juvenile to the subadult phase, or if it's a female that's currently breeding, every gecko will get at least one of these. If I had to guess, this is probably about maybe 60 to 70 large mealworms in here. And if the gecko is chunkier or older or a little bit on the heavier side and you wanted to lose weight, you could give half a bowl or even 1/4 of a bowl. One thing that I want to mention though, when you first bring home your gecko, sometimes the gecko is not going to eat right away. So it's a good idea not to give it the full portion of food that you normally would, but maybe half a portion. So in this case, what I tell people a lot of times is throw 20 mealworms in the dish. Boom. Let's just throw 20 mealworms in there. Once the gecko starts to learn where its food is, mark its territory, and get comfortable in its new environment, then you can start to add the full bowl of mealworms until the gecko is fully done growing. Once the gecko is fully done growing, you only want to feed it as little as possible so that it doesn't get bigger and bigger and bigger and start heading into the category of being overweight. Now you will get 5 of these little bowls with our kits, but you technically only need 1 of these when you first set up your enclosure. And these little bowls are reusable. You can rinse them, wash them, and and reuse them. Or if you want to buy more, you could just toss them. Like every week in our operation here, we just toss these when we're done with them every week. The last part of this operation is going to be the heat pad. So I want to show you this heat pad real quick. First of all, this is a 28 quart tub, hefty locking lid tub that you're going to see at the end of the video. So for a 28 quart tub, you want to use the 10 to 20 gallon terrarium sized Reptile under the tank heater by Zoomed or one of the other companies. I like the original Zoomed brands and not like the knockoff brands because I believe these are a little bit safer. I'm not going to pull this out, but there is a little black notch right here that holds electrical components. That will not go under the tub. So what you'll do is you'll take this out and you'll put this Zoomed side facing up. So letters up, and it will slide underneath one side of the tank just like that, and you don't want anything else on top of it. And what you want to do is you want to push the soil away a little bit from this side so that the soil is maybe only about a centimeter or half an inch at the most deep, so that the gecko can learn where its hot spot is. Now, because this is plastic and not glass, it's not going to overheat in the same way that if this is attached to glass, you have to worry about it overheating. So this would go underneath the tank, and then this would plug directly into the wall. You would take your lovely new gecko, put him inside, and I'll give you guys a quick shot of how well this actually works for the gecko. So you can see just how much space the gecko has, enrichment to dig. If you want, you could actually throw some sticks in here, some cork bark, driftwood, whatever you would like, but it has everything it needs: a dry hide, a humid hide, food bowl, water dish. Some people like to put calcium into this little hole right here. I don't personally do that, but we know that people do like to do that. So in designing this food bowl water dish combo, the designer and I definitely wanted this to be a part of that. And so there's the mealworms, and the gecko will crawl around. It will usually look for a nice dark place, but they love their humid hides. And remember, this is where the heat is going to be. So you can see when the gecko digs all the way down to the bottom of this area, the Zoomed or whatever heat pad you're using is going to be heating through this plastic so that the gecko can, the gecko found the water already, so that the gecko can lie on top of here and heat itself. Now, what I like to tell people is if you feel this and it's warm to your touch, that's good. If it's burning hot to your touch, then that's a little too hot and you might want to bury it with some more soil, or you might want to wrap this with a towel one time or put like a towel on top of it before sliding it underneath the enclosure, just to buffer some of that heat a little bit. Now, the last step, which I will show you, is you want to make sure your gecko is secure. This is why we use these hefty 28 quart, actually these are bigger than 28 quart, sorry, these are 40 quart. We use these hefty 40 quart tubs is because they lock and nothing is getting out of here. Even a snake would not get out of here. So you could even use this for a ball python if you wanted. We have some ventilation in here, but if you didn't have the opportunity to have these little vents, which you can buy from Amazon, then you could actually just drill holes in here, and that would effectively allow some fresh air in and a little bit of the old stale air in here and the heat out. So I thank you so much for purchasing a gecko from us or watching this video so that you can learn how to set up your own gecko enclosure yourself. Let me know if you have any questions. You know, my phone number is right on our website. And yeah, let me know if there's any other topics that you want me to cover in some of our next videos. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, have a geeky gecko great day. Peace.